you're going to see that our opportunity for buyers, sellers, and talent has never been greater than it'll be for the next 6 months. The question is, are you going to go out there and actually take advantage of it?
Welcome, Ben Kinney. Thank you a million. Dana Cadena here, and a lot of people who really admire you. And thank you so much for investing the time with us today.
My honor. Am I the only one that's going to be on video except for you? Or is everybody else shy here today?
Well, yeah, I guess they're a little shy by the pilot, just because we really just want to put a spotlight on you. You're so kind, Ben, truly, and you're such a giver and a big thinker. And before you joined us, we were chatting a little bit about the Win, Make, Give podcast and how that's really instilling such a mind shift in us and for the greater number of people out there. So I know you are so pressed for time. There's 30 to 40 people, I believe, who report to you at this time. Is that right?
I have about 150 W-2 employees and about 1,700 1099 contractors, and we have 40 or 50 companies. So it's I never thought in my career that all companies would be struggling with an issue at the same exact time on the same exact day. But this plague, this virus, is impacting every industry, every company, every job, every person, every family, every community, every country, every state. It's pretty significant. So it's an interesting time right now. But I do have time to talk to you guys. So thank you for inviting me, and thank you for being patient with hi Nancy, with me getting on here tonight. I was finishing up a couple calls.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ben. And you've been so vocal in terms of your messages to us and just sharing with us over the years. And like you said, now things are getting real, right? People are literally losing their lives. They're losing a lot, and yet there's also some diamonds of opportunity in these issues and problems and challenges that the virus has brought. And you said something that's so sticky to so many of us that just sticks with us. It's that winning is becoming the person that our dreams require. And with that, I'm just so interested to know, you named so many people you're in business with. How significant is it to kind of do an alignment check and to just make certain that you're in true alignment with the people that you surround yourself with professionally?
Dana, obviously I'm not a huge runner, but in my life I have ran a few times. And you ever notice that when you run with somebody faster than you run faster than you ever have before? And if you run with people slower than you, it slows you down. This is an opportunity to see who's bought into your mission, who's bought into your vision, who wants to run and take care of people as much as you, or who's been all talk. A lot of people, a lot of frauds will be exposed right now. And a lot of us will have the opportunity to show up as the leader that we said we were, or even as a version that we never thought we'd have to be. And right now, it's about everybody being on board with the mission. And it's about leaders stepping up and taking control of the helm. I always say that every ship needs a captain. And now you start seeing people showing up as the captain because the business really needs them. I had a friend the other day say, "You must be really stressed or struggling or exhausted." And I said, "No, I'm like running on adrenaline right now because everybody needs me, and I respond very well to being needed and to helping people. If it was just me, I'd be sitting back here in self-pity thinking about how much money I lost in the stock market or how this is going to affect my companies or any of those sort of things. Right now I'm thinking about how do I save everybody's jobs? How do I help all of our families? How do I help our agents continue to pay their mortgage? How do we keep this thing going?" And I literally feel like I'm running on adrenaline, and I feel really good. Like I'm operating in a really great right now in this chaos because it's not about me anymore. This is
Right.
100% about helping everybody else in our community.
Wow, that's so true. I mean, Mo Anderson has been quoted by saying, "Why just provide enough for yourself and your family when you can provide so much for other people's families?" Right? It's like a recurring theme, and so that's so powerful. So right now, what are a couple of nuggets that you're sharing with your agents in terms of your sales teams? What are just a few things in these times that you're sharing with them to boost productivity?
Uh, I believe if you listen to my podcast, I believe that winners focus on the things they can control. And I think when we become losers, and we've all become losers in our life at some point, that we become losers because we're focusing on all the things we can't control. We can't control who gets sick. We can't control how long this is going to last. We can't control financially how this is going to affect us in the short term. Like there's all these things that we can't control. What we can control is how we behave during this time. Are we going to look at this as a frickin' snow day? Or are we going to look at this as an opportunity to refine ourselves and refine our businesses and make necessary changes that we've been avoiding? Are we going to look at this as an opportunity to fill the funnel so that when the gates of real estate open up and all of a sudden we're running through the start line, right? That we have more buyers, more sellers, and more business than we've ever had? Or are we going to sit back and mope and watch Tiger King and be wondering about, you know,
Yeah.
what we're going to do next, or is the government going to send me a check, or whatever that might be? I'm thinking about how do I fill the funnel? How do I have more sellers when this thing opens than I've ever had in my life? How do I get more buyers pre-approved to take advantage of low interest rates and increase in inventory? How do I help sellers sell right now in case we do go into recession and their property's worth less later? Like, how do I help people? And when the gates open, am I going to have as many people as possible to help? And that's the message that I'm pounding home to my people. This is not a snow day. This
Right.
is a season. How long do seasons last? 3 months, 4 months, 5 months,
Months. Yep.
right? They
Yep.
last a while. Well, this is going to last a while. This is not a snow day, right?
Yep.
Let's fill the funnel.
Yep. And I love how you talk about how you've invested into a lot of technology companies because you felt like tech was the one thing that could, really attack or jeopardize or hurt the livelihoods of your agents and the people you're in business with. Could you, in your Ben Kinney crystal ball of sorts, pontificate on what things may look like in terms of the new normal and kind of weave that in with your opinion on tech?
Yeah. In fact, the reason that I was a few minutes late for our call was I'm approving the final designs on Brivity's virtual package, which is just something we're giving free to our customers to allow them to do virtual showings, virtual open houses, virtual listing presentations, virtual buyer consults. This is a new normal. Like this is going to be around for a while. And I think agents are going to realize that they can do a lot of their business virtual, even when they don't have to because of health reasons. They're going to wake up and say, I could have screened out a lot of these people via Zoom or video or a phone call, and I could be way more efficient going forward. The role of tech should be to improve our lives, not complicate it, right? But there's a big problem. Like we don't understand technology. Do you have an iPhone?
Yes.
Grab your iPhone for me and open up the calculator.
Okay.
Show it to us. Type in 100 million.
I don't know if it'll fit. Okay.
Okay, that's a big number, isn't it?
It is.
Multiply it by 11.
It Yeah, it does that thing.
What is it? What does that say? Read that to us.
It says 1.1 E9.
What the shit does that mean? Like, I've been out of high school and college for so long. Like, I don't know what the hell 1.9 E9 is. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Turn your calculator sideways, horizontal.
Oh,
What's it say? 1.1 billion.
1.1 billion with a not a B, however, it's 1.1 billion when you only turn it sideways.
How many people out there knew that when you turn your calculator sideways, a whole new version is shown. It has logarithms and cosines and square roots and all those buttons that you always wondered that didn't have. Did you know it was there?
Listen to me. I was today years old when I just learned that. So thank you for helping me live my life.
Well, that's the way technology is. Technology is like my freaking Peloton. It sits there holding up my jacket, right? And I'm not using it for what it could really be used for, right? And
Right.
technology has to solve a problem, and
Sure.
technology should improve our lives. It shouldn't make it more difficult and more complicated. It should give us our time back, right? Technology should allow us to do 200 or 300% of the business in 50% of the time. If it does that, it's just solved it. Think of this Zoom right here. The amount of time that it would have took for you to interview me if I had to fly all the way to the East Coast, sit down, take all that time away from my life and my business, it'd be 3 days at minimum, right? And
Right.
now in 1 second, I can jump on here and see your face, right? And interact with
Amazing.
all these other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So the mindset of focusing on what you can control, right? And technology should free us because if we're only trading time for money, right? That's a challenge. Your takeaway about flipping the triangle, I mean, I thought I was in church for a second. I stood up, I screamed in my car. I didn't stand up in my car, you know what I mean? So can you just riff a little bit on flipping the triangle? Because I know the cash flow quadrant and striving to reside on the right side of Rob Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. And I feel like the way you stacked it with that triangle and flipping the assets are just remarkable, sticky, sticks to you.
Yeah, if you were to look at a triangle the way I explained it, the vast majority of the world exists in this triangle that's facing up like the pyramid, right? And at
Mhm.
the base of that pyramid says, "I exchange time for money." And the vast majority of the world says, "Hey, I'm a business owner," but they don't act like it. And they've now just realized that they aren't, because now when they can no longer show and they can no longer list because of this catastrophe that they're in, they realize that their income's going to stop. That's why they're all freaking out, canceling everything, and going crazy, right? Because they actually weren't running a business that could go forward in perpetuity. What you need to do is you need to move from having exchanging time for money to getting residual income or cash flow from the assets that you own. That would be like having a rental property that you rent out and it pays you more than your mortgage. That'd be having a business that somebody else runs, or in real estate, it could be as simple as having a buyer's agent that went and showed a buyer on a deal that you've never seen, right? That you got paid for work that somebody else was doing. Well, the goal is not to have the majority of your income come from exchanging time for money. The goal is to flip the triangle so that you wake up one day and you realize the vast majority of your wealth comes from your assets that generate cash flow. And the smallest amount of your income is you getting paid to show up on your job, exchanging time for money. And the reason that you have to flip the triangle is because at some point, what's going to happen is you're going to have no income, because no income from exchanging time, because you're going to retire, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get sick, you're going to have to go take care of your family. Something's going to happen where you can no longer exchange time for money. So your assets have to create enough cash flow to subsidize your income in retirement. Our whole goal of working should be flipping the triangle into having enough income coming in that we never have to work anymore. Or if we do go to work, we actually make the choice.
Right. And I love how you've said, I'm okay with being poor because poor is a socioeconomic thing. However, you're not okay with being broke. Broke is something we do to ourselves. And whew, fire,
Yeah,
fire.
poor could be what we're going through right now. Like people are going to end up poor, out of their control. Well, kind of out of their control. Uh, but broke is something we do to ourselves. That means we are basing our business budget today on our pendings, not our closed. We were basing our expenses on the money we thought we had coming in next month and the month after, because we just assumed that it would always come in the way that it always has. But that's not the case. Never have we known that to be more true than it is today, right?
Yep.
And we have a fiduciary duty to our family and our community and our neighbors and our Lord to take care of ourselves and take care of our neighbors and especially those underneath our own roof. That's what the Bible says. And that comes by us being financially smart and working hard. And that's our duty. I believe that's my duty as a Christian and as a business owner to my employees is to protect us and protect us through situations like this.
Amen. That is the truth. Ben, wow. There are so many questions pouring in. Is it cool if I just share them with you offline? I know you have another call immediately after this, and I'm just so honored. There's a lot of agents on here that are rainmakers of teams and mega teams. And, I feel like I've thrived with KW for 15 consecutive years. I'm a KW approved trainer out of KWRI. And guess what? I feel like I've been begging agents to save 12 months of reserves, and I don't know if everyone's done it. I pray that they have, and yet I have a funny feeling that there's a lot of people in our environment with us here, right here tonight, who eat what they kill and who are feeling a lot of fear. And so if we could just put a bow on it and just hear, like, I have someone asking, like, what do you see as the number one opportunity right now for us to do in our industry right now? What do you feel? What's in your gut? What would that be?
Well, let's slow it for a second. We have a responsibility, number one, to stay healthy and to keep our family healthy and to keep our clients healthy. That's the number one priority. No amount of money is worth risking any of that. So, that being said, that put on the side for a second. What is the opportunity? Well, buyers are going to be able to write offers on properties finally uh, and not have as much competition. There's going to be more inventory. There's a better chance that buyers are going to be able to get into homes. For every 1% that interest rates go down, it it saves the buyer 10% on their monthly payment. They basically are getting a 10% reduction in home value just by rates dropping to what they have already. That's 10% off what they would have paid for a home 60 days ago, right? There's lots of opportunities for buyers coming up. Probably has never been a better time for a lot of the agents that have only been in the business 4, 5, 6 years than there is today. Well, what's the opportunity for sellers? Well, I think there's going to be more buyers. I think a lot of people are, for us as agents, there's going to be a lot more listings to go get because these people are going to be forced into a position where they're going to have to actually sell. They lost a job, they had vacation rentals, they didn't have reserves, they decided that their big house wasn't as important now as they thought it was, so they're going to make life changes, right? They're going to get relocated. Like there's all these things that are going to increase the number of buyers available and the numbers of sellers available to those that take advantage of it. In addition, agents are now recruitable who never were. Brokerages are recruitable who never were. Like assistants are recruitable who never were. You're going to see that our opportunity for buyers, sellers, and talent has never been greater than it'll be for the next 6 months. The question is, are you going to go out there and actually take advantage of it? It says that one of the opportunities that he sees is reaching out to his sphere.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you that's a given. We have to do that. And Spencer, we have to do it with empathy. We have to call first to see if they're okay. We have to call first to ask them, how are they doing? Is there anything we can do for them? Has this negatively impacted them in any way, right? What can we do with our resources, our connections, and our heart to help those people? Inevitably, the conversation will turn to how we are. And if we want and we feel comfortable, we can talk about real estate. Here's a good way to bring it up. Just ask people, has anything that's happened in the last month or two changed your real estate related plans for the year? Has anything that's that's being affected right now, mm-hmm, changed your real estate related plans for the year? Well, what do you mean? I mean, is this making you want to sell? Is this making you want to invest? Is this at least making you curious what the value of your home is? Right? Do you want to know how much equity is in your property today? That's a real estate related question that I can answer for you. You think our friends and family aren't checking their stock account every day to see what's happened to it in their retirement? They're doing the same thing on their real estate stock account, but they're going to Zillow and Redfin to check it instead of you, because we aren't offering them market reports, market updates, or free CMAs from us personally on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Our sphere, our database needs us to reach out to them and offer, not in a salesy, slimy way, but in a caring way, what can we do to help you? I'm here for your questions, right? What are your real estate related questions? Do you have any friends with questions or concerns? I'm here to help. I'm not here to sell them anything. If they want to buy or sell eventually, that's awesome. I'm just here to help. How can I help? And when you have those types of conversation, you're going to be set apart from all the agents that are posting spammy memes about about real estate right now. What they need to hear is that you care and you're there for them. You do that, you'll have more business than you can handle. That's my guess.
I believe your guess is rather on point. So that's outstanding. My concern is the snow day concept for a lot of our agents and a lot of our talent, because it certainly is not. And you've shared with us, especially on the Win Make Give podcast, that comfortable is the killer of super productivity.
Yeah.
Comfortable really is the killer, right? Of super productivity. And don't get comfortable.
Yeah. You
Get or
want to be
stay in
average, be
shape.
comfortable.
Say it again.
You want to be average, be comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
In the most recent podcast, I said something. I said, remember the louder, not the majority. We'll allow one person telling us no, or one person on social media criticizing us, or one of those things to negatively impact us. But the loud are not the majority. They're just simply loud, right? If I help 99 people, would I care if one person said F you, or one person said I was an idiot, or one person said something bad? I got people all the time posting bad stuff about me. And they've never taken the time to know my heart or to get to know me personally, right?
Yeah.
I don't care, because I know that I know my intentions. And I know I'm going to reach out to these people. So now is a great time for you to just sit down and say, hey, on average, I've done this and it's given me these average results in my life. I'm going to 10x it. I'm going to 10x the amount of contacts that I make. I'm going to 10x the amount of emails, the amount of texts, right? I'm going to 10x it. Because if you 10x it, you're guaranteed to be successful. If you 2x it, that might not be enough. If you 1x it, you're basically screwed,
Yeah.
because what you've been doing is not going to get you the same result. Those days are actually gone.
That's right. That's absolutely right. I think that it's a trap that people think, oh, if I 10x it, I'm not going to get it's not going to make a difference. What difference is that going to make? It's the difference maker here for sure. So, so true. Thank you so much, Ben. I am just so honored. I see someone just posted a question. If there's other questions, may I just maybe DM them or share them? Guess what? You go to the Win Make Give podcast, and really all of these schools of thought are covered. You go so laser focused into them. It's masterful. You have to listen to the episode several times to really internalize it. And so I guess let's wrap on this, because I'm so honored by your time. And we're all so grateful. There was one skill that everyone here could improve upon during this season. What would that professional skill be?
I've been telling everybody that the most needed skill right now in business and leadership is empathy. We're not being empathetic to our clients or other agents or other people about how these things are affecting them. And an empathetic leader can move an army forward because they understand their fears and they understand their ambitions and what they want. And we need to spend more time becoming empathetic. Now, that's probably not the answer everybody wants to hear. So let me give you another one. If you were going through this next 30 days and you knew that at the end of the 30 days you could emerge as a new person, who would that person be? What new habits would you have created? What are the 5 things that would be different about your life going forward that you're going to commit to never changing backwards? What is that going to be? What are those things that you're going to do to make you a new person? What are you going to do to become the person that your dreams require? And I'm focused right now on what are these new habits? What are these things that I could do that as I emerge from this, there's a good chance our business and our lives will never be the same. Things are going to be different. And I'm just going to choose that it's going to be better for me than it was prior. It'll be different. Not everything will be the same and not everything will be perfect, but I'm going to make some things better for me. What are you going to make better?
Awesome. We form habits and then those habits form us, right? I want salad habits, Ben, not cheeseburger habits. Do you know what I mean?
No, I freaking love cheeseburgers. Like it's my cheeseburgers are my love language. So I don't want salads. But yes, I need them. I actually need it. I wish that I stress ran instead of stress ate, but I don't. I'm not wired that way yet. Maybe at the end of this, I will. You never
I don't
know.
want to brag. My calorie intake is popping. It's popping.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
said on
yeah.
Facebook, I'm going to get the COVID plus 19 LB by the time this thing is actually over. Well, I appreciate you being such a student of my message. I can tell that you've listened to my podcast and our calls, and I really appreciate you encouraging these people to come and listen to our message. As you guys probably know, Win Make Give has no sponsors. Win Make Give has no ads.
I
There's no
noticed that.
real estate focus of it. It's about health, wealth, leadership, and legacy. I do an annual event. Normally, we had to cancel it this year or postpone it because of this fiasco. Uh, and I give 100% of the proceeds to help hunger and homelessness. So this entire project is about me lifting the world up and me improving people and sharing some of these lessons and models that I found that work for me. So you sharing it to people is a real gift to me. And thank you
Thank you.
guys for going there and listening to them and giving me your feedback, either on the reviews or send me a message personally what your thoughts are. That would mean a lot to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being you. We appreciate you. Thanks a million, Ben.
All right. See you on the next one.
Talk to you soon, friend. Thank you.